If you're writing a novel and you're trying to figure out your title and you do your research and discover somebody else has a copyright protected book with that same name, are you then also allowed to use this title? Let's talk to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer, Tony, to find out more.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, when it comes to naming our books, if we are doing our research and someone has written in this week saying they've done their research on their book title, they didn't find a trademark on it, but they did find someone else had a copyright protected book with that same title, are they then allowed to use that title?
They absolutely are. There is nothing in copyright law that actually bars you from having a title that is similar or the exact same as someone else. And that gets to the heart of what's actually been discussed in previous copyright decisions about the copyrightability of certain assets. So titles, facts, even like down to common vernacular words, those are the kinds of things that are not, they don't really meet the criteria for copyright to begin with. They lack the originality prong that is really essential. And it's a very low threshold, like stupid low. But if you're talking about a title, like that's something that is very common. There can't be a monopoly or exclusivity to that specific title. It's understood that it's free and clear for anyone to use. And I guess the perfect example of that is, there's the Kanye West song Stronger, but then there's the Kelly Clarkson song also called Stronger. So what, they can't, either of them can't have a song called Stronger. I'm sure that there are plenty of other songs out there called Stronger, but there's nothing that's barring any of them from having that as their song title. So titles in that regard are totally fine. And if you're an author and you happen to have a book that is titled either similarly or exactly the same as an existing book, that's not the kind of thing that will trigger any sort of copyright infringement activity. And actually, now that I think about it, we even are seeing this in real time with the Andy Stone lawsuit part 2, where he's suing Mariah Carey now for copyright infringement. In addition to the lyrics, he still is adamant that the fact that his song is called All I Want for Christmas Is You, and her song is also called All I Want for Christmas Is You, that the title similarity being identical is copyright infringement. And that just makes no sense whatsoever. But that's totally fine. Now, this is different from trademarks. And trademarks, I just want to provide it as like some context. Trademarks use words, designs, or a combination of both to identify the source of goods or services. So kind of an example here, I happen to have my protein shake, but the word Orgain and certainly the logo, that O logo, these are likely registered. And actually you can see on the screen that it has the circle R next to it. That means that this is registered in the USPTO. Now, if I wanted to make a product that is called Orgain, but it's not in, let's say, the protein shake business or in the nutrient supplement business. Let's say Orgain is, let's say, I'm a service or organic food service. Maybe that's something that wouldn't cause consumer confusion, but it's different from being in the nutrient supplement space. But if I make another, let's say, protein shake, and I also call it Orgain, that's where it could become clearly a case of consumer confusion. Even if I changed Orgain's spelling from Orgain to Organe, that could be something that could still trigger consumer confusion. Now, I don't see a world where a book title also would necessarily trigger sort of trademark infringement worthy behavior, unless, of course, you're using a registered trademark in the context of a book title that is registered in classes of books or goods or services related to books, or related to retail services related to books. That's where maybe it could get a little dicey. And then surely, the MacGuffin here, the $64,000 question is, would your use of a trademark word even cause consumer confusion? For what it's worth, I like to give out factoids. A trademark infringement claim can span anywhere between $375,000 to even $2.5 million per claim. So trademark infringement lawsuits, generally speaking, are extremely expensive. And that likely is because most of the money is spent on just the collection of data proving this said consumer confusion that I'm providing such a heavy emphasis on. So all that to say, if you ever were slapped with a trademark infringement claim from a trademark owner because your title would cause consumer confusion. One, I don't think the person can appreciate how expensive a trademark infringement claim will be in the first place. But two, you would think that they're only coming to you because they strongly believe that your use of their trademark word in a title could cause that consumer confusion or create some type of discrepancy or even some type of dilution as to the origin of the goods or services. All that to say, I wouldn't worry much about the trademark side of things, but it is something that could come up, just a fair warning. But when it comes to the copyright side of things, you can have 50 books with the same title. That's not going to trigger infringement. The only way it will trigger infringement is if the contents of all the 50 said books are exactly the same or similar. That's when you're going to be in deep copyright infringement territory.
And if you have further questions on this, go ahead and drop those down below. Tony's coming back to give us even more information and get those questions answered. But we also have a lot of information just like this on the channel in our legal playlist. So make sure you are checking that out as well to see if your question has been answered, or you can just drop it here and I'll link it for you if you'd like. But anything we haven't answered, Tony will be answering in our upcoming episodes as well. And as always, you can reach out to him on his social media. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at The IP Professor. You can check out my entertainment law podcast called End Scene. New episodes drop every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Drop your questions on the legal side of the publishing space because Tony's coming back for upcoming episodes. And we have daily episodes helping you navigate the world of publishing, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable and most stress-free year ever. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.